Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about some backstage secrets surrounding Cody Rhodes' first week back in WWE.
AEW's Mark Henry teases the arrival of Cesaro.
Adam Scherr has accused Tony Khan of, and I quote, paying dirt sheets.
And a load of wrestlers miss GCW's event this weekend. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Alright, let's kick things off by talking about Cody Rhodes for a refreshing change.
Oh, good.
On the news. New report here from Fightful Select. Obviously, Cody's been back for just over a week now. He returned to WWE at WrestleMania, wrestled the great match with Seth the Chef, came back on Raw, did the promo, appeared to be going, I'm going to win the world title at some point. All of that stuff. You know what happened, you watched it, you saw it, you probably enjoyed it. Now, this Fightful report just has some backstage bits and pieces, and there's some interesting stuff in here surrounding the return, noting that there were discussions initially to have Cody and Brandy fly to WrestleMania, fly to Dallas for WrestleMania, but they ended up getting that bus.
I love it.
They got a bus as part of the... Cody's got a bus as part of his
Sweet.
deal. Pretty awesome. I would take a bus. Continuing a little bit, stating that while the rumours were everywhere, there were people in WWE who didn't know 100% that Cody was actually coming back until he actually showed up at WrestleMania. A bunch of people who were friends with Cody came up to him afterwards and said, "Hey man, why didn't you tell me you were coming back, man?" Wanted to keep a secret. That's probably the answer. But Cody was originally going to do his promo on Raw as well. That was going to be last, with Roman going first.
Should have been last.
Yeah. WWE ended up flipping that. There's no word on why, but that happened. Changes on the internal run sheet, all of that. And Ringside News had previously reported, and Fightful had mentioned this here, that the promo was scripted rather than unscripted, which Cody said. Fightful acknowledged that here. And yeah, there you go. Now, there's some interesting stuff with regard... I should say as well, as part of that, it is expected that Cody will continue with his AEW style presentation in WWE.
Good.
So, music, the way he speaks, character, coming up through the little thing.
When it works.
Yeah, when it works. Poor guy. All of that stuff is expected to continue, even though some stuff will obviously be scripted. He's in WWE. Brandy, there's some interesting stuff here with regards to Brandy, because it's previously been reported that she wouldn't be coming into WWE as part of the Cody deal, or on her own deal, of course. She was backstage at WrestleMania, of course, nothing out of the ordinary there. Friends and family are backstage all the time in WWE. However, it was noted that while she was backstage at WrestleMania, she has apparently had productive conversations, in the words of Fightful, with influential WWE names. She is at the moment working on unscripted content, continuing her in-ring career. I think she's doing some Shot Brandy stuff, which is on the table as well. So there you go. Roundup of what's going on in the ever-chaotic Codyverse at the moment. Maybe we'll see Brandy come back. I think a lot of people looked at tonight's match with The Miz and immediately went, ding, 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 Miz and Maurice versus Brandy and Cody. We'll see. It could just be a one-off match. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think people really overreacted to that match.
I think he's the perfect first opponent.
As long as it doesn't go past this Raw, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Just as a one-off match. You tweeted something along similar lines, didn't you? Basically, him coming out and just smashing through Miz, especially, I know the way he's been presented, but a former recent WWE champion just getting destroyed by Cody. It's like, oh yeah, he is World Championship material for maybe those who don't remember how good he is.
Yeah, exactly. I think if this is his first feud at WrestleMania Backlash, yes, that is a bit underwhelming because it's The Miz. He's been doing the same thing forever and ever. He's staler than 10-year-old bread.
Yes.
His gimmick has never changed. It's good, don't get me wrong, but he's very much here when Cody should be shooting for here in his comeback tour. So, and I guess the 24/7 division is down here if you want a proper scale. But yeah, I think it's a good match for Raw, honestly.
I genuinely think the presentation WWE have done with Cody since he's returned has been perfect.
Yeah.
I have no no's. We all questioned whether or not they should have brought him back on the Raws leading up to WrestleMania, and should have, we were all questioning whether or not the deal had been done. Will he actually show up? It was sensational the way they did it against Cody, the way they did it against Seth. Sorry, they had the match of the night, in my opinion, probably the match of WrestleMania. To be honest, your only real competition is probably Bianca and Becky.
Yeah.
And then, what happened on Raw? Like, I get what they're doing. If they do this with The Miz leading to WrestleMania Backlash, they're just getting him getting him going because they don't want to burn through. Like, I get it. There's an argument to be made. Why don't you go for it? Why don't you have Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania Backlash? You sense that if they're going to have Cody fight for a title, they might want to keep that in their pocket. Maybe he wins Money in the Bank. I wouldn't do that personally, but that's an option there. Do that either. I think, by the end of SummerSlam weekend, I think Cody Rhodes will be world champion within WWE. That's
I think that's a good timescale. I think if you mess him around for too long in mid-card feuds, because that's what The Miz would be, you do risk cooling him off, which is why I'm in favour of striking within the next few months rather than the next year or something like that.
And here's an idea. Don't have him lose.
There you go.
Not even like on a Raw to build to a match on a pay-per-view or a premium live event.
And it might be getting Brandy in WWE as well.
Exactly, that's exciting as well. Right, let's move on and talk about Cesaro, who's been teased by Mark Henry of AEW. He was talking about Cesaro on Saturday's episode of Busted Open Radio, which is also available, I believe, as a podcast. It's one of the best podcasts out there that isn't ours.
Look at the charts.
He said...
In the UK.
He said... Yeah, only in the UK. He said the Cesaro... Now, I should probably call him just Claudio Castagnoli going forward. But he anything with him isn't going to happen right now, although there will be a, quote, Cesaro sighting at some point. And he said that when Claudio Castagnoli does come back to the sport, people will say, holy cow! What year is it? Holy cow! That's the guy we always wanted to see. The former Cesaro, obviously a free agent since February and not deciding to renew his contract with WWE. I mean this in the nice way. Go away and make me miss you. And he started to do that. So when he does arrive, wherever it may be, I'd like to see it in AEW personally. It is going to be like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. Nice to see you again. To see you, nice.
I mean, I miss him already.
Yes.
When was he released? Was it like late February? That kind of area. Very talented pro wrestler. I've said in the past I would like to see him everywhere, every single place imaginable. Before
AEW, you said.
Yeah, like he can come in there and do some bits and pieces at the same time and just be a guy who works out. I'd love that. Whether or not he wants to do that is anyone's guess. Maybe he would just like the security of working for one company with a guaranteed paycheck. Who knows? But ultimately, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. He's obviously a tremendous pro wrestler. To quote Mark Henry, looks like there's been enough Cesaro. It's time for Claudio. I love that bit on Rampage. It's like, seriously, a weekly highlight when he says that one line. I just love it.
Especially when Wheeler, you and John Moxley are like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and he's like, well
okay.
Well, there's that one week where, was it Kingston and Garcia where they started fighting?
He was like,
well, the fight's already started. Stuff like that. But yeah, Claudio is a tremendous pro wrestler. He's been a tremendous pro wrestler for about 20 years, eagerly anticipating his next move.
Hot take. Claudio Castagnoli is a good wrestler. Pass it on.
Tweet that, you'll get 7,000 empty likes from bots.
I've gone off Twitter for a bit now. After that Edge tweet, I was like, I can't be asked for this for a bit.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. Speaking of bots, right?
Good seg.
Adam Scherr's been on, the former Braun Strowman, of course, now controlling his narrative, raging against big, what was it? Big seasoning.
That's it.
Big chicken. That was another one. Big everything. EC3, he hates big underwear, so there's lots of stuff going on.
I believe there's an interview with EC3 coming on the channel very soon, actually, from WrestleMania weekend, so keep your eyes out for that one.
Look out for that one. Adam Scherr, man, he's been very online lately, and he basically accused Tony Khan of paying dirt sheets, which, I mean, fair enough. It's been a while since I've received a check personally, Tony. Get your acting, get your SHIT together, Anthony. But yeah, we've got some stuff here from Adam Scherr. He was responding. You all saw the Tony Khan tweet of the weekend where he decided to make Twitter the most chaotic place in the world by stating that there was a survey done where a bunch of anti-AEW accounts are bots.
No, surely not.
I would say that we should probably wait until that survey comes out before we draw any dramatic conclusions from it. However, Twitter was a lot of fun when this came out, and it would be a delight to learn that all the people that have been saying that we are on the payroll were in fact on the payroll all along. That being said, he's responded to this and said, #watermark, saying, why is there no face to palm emoji? This is the same guy that pays dirt sheets and says his wrestlers are free to do whatever, but blackballed them from Control Your Narrative. Why? Because we're an effing threat. He then went on. continuing that somebody said to him that I made my kid watch Raw as punishment for getting the same haircut as a wrestler or whatever. Said that Dynamite would be far worse punishment. Adam did, so obviously more of a Raw fan. But there's another incident here where he's talking about like people just do what they want to be happy and all of this stuff. Someone replied saying, their username is actually quite funny, anti-AEW bot 443. Fair play.
Very good.
Fair play. Saying, throwing out is so based. Thank you, Adam Scherr. Adam misunderstood this, took it as an insult and said, yeah, I based on your mum's back last night. Wrestle Cringe retweeted that one. He's done more. He's been like brawling with fans on Twitter, saying that Control Your Narrative isn't an indie promotion, and yet their whole thing is that they're not controlled by a major corporation, which by definition is an indie promotion. Saying that fat shaming will get people into shape, talking about how rich he is, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Adam Scherr at the moment. I was rooting for him post WWE, and I still am, to be successful. I think it's kind of the way his WWE his run panned out. Obviously, he had a big title match just before he left, but he never quite lived up to the buzz he had in like 2017, 2018, where he was like white hot.
Yeah.
People forget that about Braun Strowman. Like, he was electrifying doing these stunts. He was very charismatic with the one-liners. You're gonna get these hands, all that stuff. He was really over, and it kind of, what's the word Sidgwick always says? Frittered away.
Yes.
There you go. But yeah, I don't know what he's up to here. Yeah, but come on, Tony, where are these checks, man? Where are these checks? Vince pays quicker than Tony these days, let me tell you.
I'm not going anywhere bloody near any of this.
Yeah, I don't know why I did.
On social media, the page. The only thing I will say is I do apologise to all of our lovely viewers if this news is actually out late today. It took me bloody ages, Andy, to find a parking space because of Sidgwick's giant gold car outside. So I don't know what to tell you.
He's got a gold Rolls Royce.
Indeed.
It's wild.
But you can still get your hands on his brilliant book about AEW.
You can.
Becoming All Elite, the rise
You
of
can
AEW.
buy another car. Well, did you know, guys, that even when that book is only like £15, Sidgwick actually gets about $100 per purchase? Profit.
Right, let's move on to the final news story of the day regarding GCW's event, Devil in a New Dress.
Kanye West song, yeah. Best album he's ever done.
Oh, so
My
can we
Beautiful Dark
stick it on in the
Fantasy?
office this afternoon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, they're
Maybe
doing a
not like the Yeezy Taught Me bit. That's a bit not safe for work. But, yeah.
Indeed. So they did GCW Devil in a New Dress in San Francisco over the weekend, and a whole load of wrestlers didn't show up, basically. Former Ring of Honor World Champion Bandido, although he admitted the reason he missed the show was his own fault. Gringo Loco missed the show too, although there was no reason giving. And Jacob Fatu and Biff Busick also missed out on the show, but that was apparently due to travel issues. Sounds like a bit of a mess, this, Andy.
Yeah, it does. It does. A lot of people to be missing from one show. Obviously, travel issues cannot be helped. I've really enjoyed Biff Busick's work since he got back on the indie scene. That's the former Rodney Larkin.
I didn't really enjoy the match on Bloodsport for him, but still.
Did you not? Oh, I loved it.
I know I enjoyed it. I meant for him.
For him, yeah, personally.
Good God.
Yeah, he bled like a stuck pig, didn't he?
I'm not going to tap out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you then. How about that? But yeah, weird stuff going on here. Reticent to pass comment.
Yeah. Hesitant,
I should say, to pass comment until more stuff comes out. But we'll see what happened.
Exactly.
Speedball versus Minoru Suzuki was on that show, and I'm going to watch that.
Yes, please. We'll watch that in the office this lunchtime, I reckon. All right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Eddie Zamhari, who says, hey guys, with WWE teasing to unify the men's tag team titles, and thank God for that, by the way, do you think WWE should unify the Raw and SmackDown women's championships and introduce a mid-card title for the women, like the AEW TBS title, to give more opportunity to showcase their talent around 3 brands?
It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. I think that in the current format, if you had a mid-card title, it wouldn't work because they do out with the immediate title stuff, they don't do a good job of building either the divisions on Raw or SmackDown, particularly in the tag team title division, where it's like, hey, thrown together tag team. This one's actually pretty good, but the rest of them all suck, and they'll be splitting up in 6 months anyway. So why would you care? It would mean every woman on the roster basically being a free agent almost, right? Because Well, not necessarily. I guess the title holder just bounces back and forth. But I don't know. I don't think that would solve many problems if you have two singles titles that go back and forth, because you've got two singles titles at the moment, right? The only thing you would have there is that the two top people at the figureheads of the division would be going back and forth. I don't think that solves the problem, to be honest.
No, I think they've got enough women there to justify championships on either brand. But yeah, just book it better. Now they've got, what's her name? Not Raquel Gonzalez, Raquel
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. She's a great addition. Why don't you bring
Babyface Lacey Evans.
Bring Dakota Kai. Lacey Evans now, yeah, she made an
Asuka
appearance
Bayley.
on SmackDown. Asuka, Bayley. The list goes on and on and on. So I think, and also the way WWE books mid-card titles, I know the TBS title isn't a mid-card title per se within AEW, they would make it feel like, Dana Brooke's a champion, a 24/7 champion, rather quickly, in my opinion. So I probably wouldn't go down that route, but I get where you're coming from.
I get,
and please, God, sort out the women's tag team division. Why not book some
Yeah.
teams that are actual tag teams? Maybe sign some people like that.
Yeah, like
Maybe don't sack one of the best female tag teams I've ever seen, or split them up.
and they do
make
stuff
a bit of
like
Impact and just.
They do stuff like as well, like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, right? It was thrown together, right? It was just appearing.
Well, they might be tag team champions now. Let's not jump.
Well, there you go. They came together.
What do you mean you can see a split coming?
They came together, and it's like the one time in a while they've thrown two people together, and they've had really like good chemistry and seem to really enjoy working together. And then last week it's like, split them up.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, good. Get Rhea Ripley in singles competition for world titles
sure.
again. But yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. They did the jump and the stomp at the same time. It's the last time we're going to see it tonight, maybe, if they split. Who could see that one coming? Jake gives us our second question of the day, saying, with Pat McAfee involved with Austin Theory, and Austin Theory being involved with Finn Balor, do you think in some roundabout way we could possibly get Pat McAfee as the new US champion, wrestling on Raw and commentating on SmackDown?
And why not? Why not?
Give him all the belts.
Give him the belt. Pat rules as a wrestler. He's so much fun every single time. The Vince match was what it was, but the Theory match before that was just the best time. He's a great time in the ring. He loves doing it. Why the hell not? They don't really care about their mid-card belts anyway. They haven't done for about 20 years. I know we all have these romantic visions about them being work rate titles, but that doesn't exist anymore. Why the hell not? Why not put it on Pat McAfee? It might be the one thing they could do that would actually make them treat the belt quite well.
Yeah.
So there you go. And this is a celebrity.
He is a real true American as well, isn't he? With the football and all that sort of thing.
Football.
Yeah, we could do that. I wouldn't do it personally because I put the world title on him because he's great. I think it was Hamflet had this great idea of having McAfee win Money in the Bank and then just have it there on the commentary desk. Just like, it'd be a shame if something happened to Roman Reigns tonight.
That's a good idea.
I like that idea, but yes.
Pat McAfee rocking up like, hello.
If they're planning on making, a big feud between Cody and Roman, then probably US title. I think you're right in terms of elevating the status of that title or the awareness, let's say.
Yeah.
You can't go far wrong with Pat McAfee, and they're clearly not enjoying having it around Finn Balor's waist because he keeps getting bloody pinned for some reason. Yeah, it's him in theory.
Finn Balor, more like.
Very nice. Jonathan Rivera gives us our final question of the day, saying,
Hello, Jonathan.
Do we think AEW is leaning
Jake.
a bit too
Hello,
much
Eddie.
on the blood? I know American wrestling has missed it these past 14 years, but to be honest, I feel like someone wears a crimson mask every single week and it makes for slightly uncomfortable viewing.
Fair play. I think it's individual choice for me. If you don't like seeing blood every other week, and it does feel like they do it every other week,
Yes.
not every week.
There's a bit of argument of overkill slightly, but not this weekend.
Like, I'm not going to argue with you at all. Like, if it's not something you enjoy seeing, that's you as a viewer. Fair play. More power to you. But I would say that when the match is as awesome as Utah versus Moxley was, and you get incredible visuals, like Utah making the blood drip down on his hand from his head, and going, to enhance the visual and stuff. When you get stuff like that, I'm 100% cool with it. I'm totally fine with blood in pro wrestling. If you want to make an objective argument on whether or not it's too much, what you would do is look at the viewership numbers and stuff. So if you look at the quarter hours for Rampage when they come out, and you see a big dip when Moxley versus Utah finishes, that's maybe a sign. Time has told us that in the modern era, among female viewers, blood isn't so popular. So those are your objective arguments. On the subjective level, for me, I'm cool with it. If you're not, fair play. We all have different tastes. I don't like flips as much as a lot of people.
I'll say this. I loved it in the Moxley match, for example. I just probably have slightly less of it in AEW, so it has more of an impact. But, sometimes you can't help it. Like, it was kind of a nice change of pace when there was blood on SmackDown this week. It was completely accidental, but Butch, although did you see Pat slipped and called him Pete at one point?
I did, yeah.
Awkward. Pete Butch? Butch Pete. Butch Pete. Yeah, here comes Butch Pete.
What was that?
So Butch Pete is in there, cowboy. How do you mind, Butch Pete? I got my horse tied around back, and I want myself a beer and some meat. I don't know what's happened. I have no idea. I've still not had enough sleep, apparently. Yes, so a little bit, but not too much. Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Now we got a Texas death match this week. So.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Bollocks. Okay, let's move on to today's and finally. And I just want to give a nod to and thanks very much, mate, for making the rest of us look back to the lovely Montez Ford, friend of the channel, of course.
Yes, new friend.
I'm not sure if that video. I think it's come out yet.
Has it gone out yet?
No, the interview we had with him at Wale Mania.
Angelo Dawkins is a lot of fun in that
Yeah,
interview as well.
indeed.
Fun guys.
That should be coming out quite soon. But do you know what he bought Bianca Belair?
Yeah, I do.
Flipping boat, in her
flipping
words. A flipping boat. So yeah, just really hope my wife doesn't see that before her birthday.
There's no water where we live.
He bought her a boat.
That was the time.
Interesting fact as well. That's Phil Chambers' old boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phil making big bank.
They negotiated that at Wale Mania. We all sailed to America on Phil's boat and then we flew back.
You'd be lucky if you could sail halfway up the Tyne on that boat. Jeez.
He did come past as well. The office went, hello.
no disrespect
That's not
to Phil, but
look, troll lorry. I don't know. That's why it wasn't working very
it's
well.
like the beginning of Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, in Bianca Belair's own words, you bought me a flipping boat.
A flipping boat.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys sitting down to review Rampage, SmackDown, and look ahead to Monday Night Raw a little bit later on today. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there. Follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at...
Follow me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for having a giraffe. Remember that one? Shout outs to Jules.
Hey!
The giraffe head is actually literally about a metre through this wall.
It is.
I should have brought it in for dramatic.
Maybe they'll save that for... there's no silly Friday news this week, is there? Can we bring it up a day, do it on Thursday?
Yeah.
Because we've got... I'm not sure how it works.
It's flat Thursday, you effing lose.
Yes, bank holidays and stuff. I don't know if you have it where you are, but yeah.
4 days
Easter.
off. I need a day off.
Yes.
I need a day off. It's been a tough few weeks.
But yeah, shout out to Jules. Miss you, mate.
Yeah.
He's not ill or anything. He's just in Wales.
Yeah, he just lives in Wales.
Yeah. Come back.
See him in a video. He's got like a bicycle on the wall and like Warhammer.
That's actually the law. You have to have a bike on the wall in Wales.
That's how it goes.
They're weird over there. Follow me
at of Gareth Bale.
At Adam Wilborn on Twitter.
Not Ryan Giggs anymore. He's a prick.
Can't put him on the wall.
Yeah.
Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Worry. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Hello.